placeholder video. Cue intro.
I've got one that can see.
Logic before authority.
Hi guys, this is Daniel Alexander Cannon here on Logic Before Authority, part of the Supernatural.Show network. Today we're going to talk about natural law, the law of God. The law, just simple, natural, common sense law, okay? And we're also, of course, putting it up against corporate law or maritime law, the systems that they use, that they have created. It's a fictitious system that has nothing to do with the natural order of this world. Yet, they have slowly, like a serpent, slipped it in over hundreds, if not thousands of years. Man has a tendency to do this to try to control people because man, or certain groups of men, they want to control because they want more power. They want you to have less and them to have more. And if they can trick you into being able to do it, to go along with it, they will. What's happening, Super Mike? Anonymous Legion 4928. Good to see you as well. Date not me 9921. Awesome. Y'all guys are into the true laws of attraction and natural law. Yep, exactly. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at one particular man and his experience in running up against the corporate fiction law, which is basically maritime law. It's the law of the waters. Even our language, but our whole entire system is based on a fictional system that they came up with, and I say they, in order to control men, to control everything. They've created a corporate or a corpse system, a dead system for dead men and dead women. And it's very, very complicated, and I'm not the expert on it, okay? But goes back to your birth certificate, because we're talking about maritime law, where when boats come in, they go to the dock, right? To give what? Birth. Where they unload the goods that come off the water is the berth. So they unload the berth at the dock, and those goods are then written down. They're given birth certificates, basically identifying exactly what was it that came off the water. And they have built this entire system into it. It includes everything, the banking, the currency system. Like currency, of course, is a term based on water. Once again, it's currency. And even the word bank, the bank is the what? The edge of the currency. It's where the water flows, right? All these things they have perverted over thousands of years, and we're at a time and place at this point where some people are starting to wake up to it and realize that literally everything was a lie, that it was the American dream, or it was the Australian dream, or Russian dream. All of these cultures, and the reason why they call them cultures is because just like in a lab, you have different cultures and you grow it different ways and apply different conditions in order to see how that culture develops. That's no different than what they actually did in this world with the different cultures. You have the Asian culture, maybe you have the Mexican culture, you have the Russian culture, the Chinese culture, all the different cultures, okay? Japanese culture. And they created different systems to test and run in all the different countries in order to determine which one would be the best in order to control the world. And then ultimately what they had to do, once they've decided which one is going to be the best, they are going to then combine it all into one system, and they have to then break your belief and your understanding, or your beliefs that you were given on these cultures that you grew up in, and convert you to a one world new order. And they're in the process of doing that. So, like I said, we're going to take a look at a gentleman, actually more than a gentleman, a natural man, a child of God, that stood up for his rights and went to court a number of times. You're going to see him win a battle, you're going to see him lose a battle, and then you're going to see him win a war. And I don't know his whole story. I didn't spend days researching into him, but I thought it'd be a good topic for us to look at and something for us to think about. There's ways that myself, I have fought back and stood up against the system that we live in, okay? For an example, I haven't paid income tax in 17 years, something like that. So I don't pay income tax. Now, I can't get away from all tax, of course, because you can't even buy a piece of bubble gum without paying tax on it, unless you make your own bubble gum, okay? And even then, you got to have supplies, and if you can't grow those supplies or gather them on your property or around your area, you're going to end up paying tax somewhere. But you fight your battles where you can, and overall, if we all fight our battles where we can, it makes a difference, okay? And I know they can see it. They know that people are rebelling, okay? But no taxes in 16 years. I don't have a driver's license, and I haven't had one probably overall in about over a decade, okay? Yeah, I still drive, but I don't drive. What I mean is driving, everything is in the wording and in the definitions as they have did them. Driving, of course, is a commercial term. It means to provide a service where you're moving goods or services or people, like if you were a bus driver or a truck driver. You're not a car driver, are you? Or you're just not a driver. Most of us are not drivers, okay? Most of us are just travelers. We're simply traveling across the land, traversing in order to get whatever we're wanting to go do or see whoever we're wanting to go see. But to go see your sister they've sold us the bill of that you need a license. They slipped it in nice and slow and easy so that no one would notice. And they said, oh, they're free. And oh, there's no, because back in the day when you went to get like to the DMV, when I was a kid, everything was free. You know, driver's license free. All these things were free because your tax dollars already paid for it, supposedly, right? Well, let me tell you, it ain't free no more, as most of you know. So I could babble on and on forever, but let's take a look at Ernie Turtelg, or something like that. Apologize, Ernie, for not saying your name correctly. But let's take a listen to his story. And it goes through several situations. Okay, we're going to watch the first one here and go from there.
Oh man, I stand as myself and speak for myself in myself. And I'm not the trustee over the old cap's name that you're operating on.
But you're here in court today because you were charged with some charges.
I'm here in court today because...
Sorry about the quality of the audio, but it's what I have. And unless I downloaded this and re-edited it and produced it and then brought it into the studio, which take me several hours to do it, just to play this video for you. It'd make the audio a little bit better, but hopefully y'all guys can understand it well enough. Let me know, Mike, if you can hear it okay.
I am making a special visitation. This is not an appearance, only spirits appear. Living men, living persons make special visitation. That's why I'm here, to make sure that you guys don't taint my truthful proper name.
You still live at 28 Line Eagle in Manhattan?
That is a storage unit that I sleep in from time to time. I live in myself in this body. I am the living man.
He says, I live in myself in this body. I am the living man. Don't think I got any higher resolution quality of video that I can do here. No.
Mr. Calgate, you were here. You were seen by Mr. Putz on 9/3/13. And
9/3/13, so 2013, 9/3. So September the 3rd of 2013, he was arrested for trying to get a fish out the water. Okay. He was arrested for trying to, like he says, forage for food. And that's another thing, that you have to have a license. You got to have permission from the government in order to go get a fish. Do you reckon they've taken this a little too far? Or a lot too far? I would say a lot too far. And to be honest with you, I'm sick of it. I avoid it in every way I possibly can.
you asked, at that time, he appointed you a public defender. Did you apply for the public defender?
Wouldn't you say that for a voice of rule? They can only speak fictitious legalese to you. I speak natural living man's English to you. It's called tone English. That's the only thing that I will do.
That's fine.
There will be no legalese used here.
Hey, what's happening, Nav Ops and Super Sidewinder? Good to see you guys. And Kent.
Well, you were charged on the 31st of August of 2013 with obstructing a police officer in violation of 457302. You were also charged on the same date with resisting arrest in violation of 457301 of the Montana Code.
Those men were charged by me right back by staging an overthrow of the Constitution of 1789 and overthrow of the Bill of Rights.
And see, this is a good point. Actually, Visitor 4565 made me think of it. Seen your message about digital ID equaling digital identity, and digit meaning fingers, or digital meaning fingers, or fingerprints having to do with the hand. And of course, we know that they're now trying to go to the next level. They want to have you, they want you to have a biological digital ID. They're attempting to further enslave the people even further. And they assume that there are not enough people willing to speak out, but even more importantly, not enough people willing to say, no, I'm done, no more. And matter of fact, we're backing up on these other things. I'm just not participating anymore. And there are a lot of areas you can do this, and you can do it. I started to say without creating a lot of problems for yourself, but not being willing to create a problem for yourself is how we all got into this. What individual, what people will stand up and say, nope, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not doing that anymore. If you just continue to take the safety route, you're going to find that you have no safety. You just cannot do it. We can't do it any longer. The futures of our children are on the line, and the future of our grandchildren, everything. We already know they're trying to wipe us out, literally, right now. People are waiting on World War III when it's been going on for 100 years. Are they not killing the babies? Are they not putting flu piles in people that are killing people, making them sick, dumbing down the children, giving them autism and destroying their lives? Are they not attacking us worldwide? Are they not killing the babies in the womb, even? They are. There's an unseen war that's going on against all of us. Yet we choose to sit back and say, well, I can't do anything. And that is the root of the problem. You're concerned with I. We should be concerned about us. We, the children of God. We have the power to stop all of this. And there is a movement afoot. I've seen it. I've been doing this for 16 years. And the people are waking up, especially ever since the flu pile. Okay, you know, the planned event thing that was demonic. People are waking up. But a lot of people also are falling trap to weaponize truth. They'll find channels and places in media that is telling truth, but then twisting in another little lie. It's happening everywhere. They're professionals at deception. You understand? They know that now we expect to hear some truth, so they're going to give us some more. It goes all the way up to the upper echelons, the White House, the court systems, everywhere is now willing to give more truth, right? But are they being truthful? No, they're not. All right, let's keep watching here.
An overthrow of my rights to forage for food as a natural living person who was in hunger. I was searching for something to put in my stomach, as I am recognized to be allowed to do what universal law has nothing to do with your corporate fiction. They violated everything, and furthermore, For your knowledge, they violated Judge Holly Brown's Title 26 United States Code ruling, which I went before her and prevailed on 21st March 2011. EP 09-58A is the case number wherein she evidenced that.
So he's obviously been to court before this for other things and has won.
I am not a taxpayer because I am not a federal citizen. Federal law trumps state law at every turn. I have 9 judge rulings to that end, and that trumps state law. I am not registered crime. I am the living man, and I have the right to forage for food when I'm hungry.
All right. But you're here on different charges.
That is
Not
what
all your own
stands.
court.
Ma'am, you can argue this all day long. You're operating on corporate fiction.
I'm telling you, you're here on some charges which were filed to report.
I do not
Number
understand
one.
those charges.
Charges. You know how when you go somewhere and they charge you money for something? That's what this is about. A lot of it is money. Like when you see a police officer pull over someone on the side of the road because they were traveling across the land a little too fast. They didn't endanger anyone. They didn't hurt no one. They weren't driving recklessly. It's just because they were traveling 10 miles per hour faster than what the sign on the side of the road said was safe. Then what do? They charge that person. Give me money. Police officers in their duty of doing those kinds of things are revenuers. That's what they are. They're revenuers. They're going out. They're not providing protection or safety or for anything. What they're doing is they're gathering revenue for the corporate system, for this system. The system, and we all know it, it's corrupt. But I can hear one little birdie somewhere's out there saying, well, you got to have law. Yeah, exactly. Natural law. You don't need law saying you need our permission to travel across the land in the mode of transportation of the day. You need our permission maybe to drive, is what they should say. But we're not driving. We're traveling. We're just not on a horse anymore. Times changed. Mode of transportation has changed. And when they finally got into automobiles, somebody came up with the bright idea of all kinds of things, right? They tax you for, if you own a vehicle and you've paid all the payments and you paid it off, you still got to pay for it some more. You got to pay property taxes on your personal property. Then you got to pay, have a house that your daddy gave you. You got to pay taxes on it. It's paid off. Matter of fact, it was paid off several times and many taxes were paid on it. But give me some more money every year. Revenuers. It's about lifting their system up and crushing us down. And until the people get tired of it, overall, it's never going to change. Matter of fact, not changing is exactly the same as getting worse, because getting worse is guaranteed. When there is no resistance, these systems are designed to eat more and more and more until there is nothing left. Very similar to how the giants used to be. They wanted more. They wanted those humans to provide all these things for them. That wasn't enough, so they started eating the humans. And it got so bad that the creator of natural law said, this is just too much. And had to destroy everything. And we do this over and over. Human flesh is in a fallen state. You don't have to be, because you have a spirit in you. That spirit within you has the ability to control and demand the flesh to do what you want, what your spiritual light being, that part of you that is not part of the flesh. You can command that body. You can tell it, no, I'm not doing that. Give you an example. Let's say you're laying in the bed in the morning time and you feel the urge to go to the bathroom and you say, no, I'm not getting up right now. I'm going to take another little nap. What happens? What happens is if you tell your body no, it'll stop urging you to go to the bathroom. But what happens if you keep thinking about, I got to go to the bathroom? The urge gets stronger. What happens if you get up to go to the bathroom? The urge gets even stronger because you're succumbing to the flesh. And the flesh knows not about what's good, right or wrong. The flesh only wants what the flesh wants. That's just one simple example of how you can tell the flesh, no, I'm not doing that, or no, not now. And if you can understand that and proceed down that line of thinking, you can come to understand how to control your flesh and not allow it to participate in all the bad things in this world that you can turn from, because you are not the flesh. The flesh is defiled, is sinful in this world. There's no way to escape it other than taking control, kind of like the captain of a ship, and saying, no, we're not going over there. There's rocks. Even though the boat wants to drift over there, there's ways to stop it. I see you, visitor 4565, the tree and its fruit. All right, let's keep going.
Number one, you keep interrupting me, and I'm going to charge you with contempt, and you go to jail.
Contempt of court is spelled C-O-double-N. I know about calling. That's navigation.
Sir,
It's the storm.
I sit. Be quiet until I get
Don't
through
touch
reading
me,
this.
you ain't a gun. Don't you touch me. I am the living man protected by universal law.
You keep talking, and you're going to be charged with contempt, and you're going to go to jail.
You have already contempted this place.
No, I told you I would if you didn't quit talking.
These are the living witnesses to what you're trying to do. You are trying to create a fictitious fraudulent action. You are trying to bilk the Federal Reserve by securitizing in all caps commercialized name and notifying them that they...
Everything he's saying is the truth, actually.
That they are standing in debt now. If you touch me, you will violate natural law. Do not come near me. I am protected by the land. Do not tell me to shut up. I am the living natural man, and my voice will be heard. That is the Jolly Roger. That thing you call the American flag with the gold fringe around it is the Jolly Roger, and you are acting as one of his privateers.
Okay, you're here.
If you don't know what he's talking about, research it. The Jolly Roger flag. It's the truth.
I'm in charge of arrest.
I'm here on a special visitation.
That's right. And
I've never let you get away with this. Get up here.
To each charge, could be up to a $500 fine, up to 6 months in jail.
I do not understand any charges. I only understand universal law and the right to live.
Well,
To
you
live
pled
in
not
peace
guilty.
and to live as I need to.
You pled not guilty in this.
I never plead. Animals plead. So like that, oink oink.
I have a paper with your signature on it, sir.
It says prime evidence standing right through it. You bring forward all natural forms of evidence that I'm not prime evidence. I am the living soil. The dirt, the water, and the air has its own voice, does it not? It all supports forms of life, does it not? I am a part of that life. I am not your corporate fiction.
Sir,
Do not danger me.
you're here today on an omnibus hearing. You've already pled not
I am
guilty.
here by special visitation to see to it that you do not tainter my natural living man's name.
Are you prepared
That's why
to tell
I'm
the
here.
court if you wish to go to trial on this matter?
This is a
Now, you notice he hasn't called himself, I'm a sovereign citizen, or I'm a this, or I'm a that. All he has said is that he is the natural man. And it's the truth. He's the natural man, the same natural man that has been up upon this earth for I don't know how long. Thousands and thousands of years. And other men and women have plotted and come up with all of these systems in order to simply fleece and suppress other men and women. through fiction, making up systems and believing in them themselves, and then getting enough other people to submit to them, and then they push it across on everybody, and then they go to step 2. It's never stopped. It never will, until if one day the people finally have enough, because it could be stopped in a day. Yeah, there would be some bumps in those roads, and some people might get some knots on their head.
Well, tell me
No,
it's not.
this isn't a trial.
Here's my
This is
jury
an
of my
omnibus
peers.
hearing, sir.
You cannot produce a jury of my peers because all juries are selected from a pool of registered voters, and the instant a person registers to vote, their natural ability as a peer to comprehend natural law has been dissolved and turned into fiction. There cannot be raised a jury of my peers. It cannot be done.
Excuse me for just a moment.
No way.
See, he said that they could not provide a jury of his peers, and he's right, because any jury, you have to be a registered voter to be a juror. If you're registering to vote, that means you buy into their system. You believe it. You believe that your vote makes a difference. You believe that you have a president. You believe that that president has the power to take things away or give things away. And if you believe in that system, how can you then be a peer of that person who says, I don't believe in that system. I'm not going along with that system. That system is what y'all guys made up. It's your fiction of corporate dead entities that are in debt, and everything based on debt. So, no, of course, he could not get a jury made of peers, of his own peers. However, you'll see a little bit later, he does go before an actual jury trial. Now, she just got up and walked out.
Excuse me for just a moment.
No way. Get back here and finish this. Hey, get back here and finish this. The judge has left the courtroom. There you go.
Yeah.
There is nobody in this courtroom. The judge has walked out.
Just walk down there.
I said no excuse.
What she's basically done in maritime law is she has abandoned the ship. You see, the reason why they set up on that podium up there is because they are considered in their minds to be the captain of that ship, and that they can rule and say anything. But technically, she abandoned the ship, and he's leaving.
Up and out. Up and out. Up and out. Up and out. Oh, man.
You see her standing right there. She's standing to the side, out of the way, and so are all the police officers, because they know what the man is saying is the truth. And there's something stopping them from being able to do anything about it. Maybe they've got a little bit of conscience, but she can't verbally admit that he's right. If she did, she couldn't be a judge. She couldn't fulfill this fictitious role of having authority over people, because they didn't ask for permission to go get a fish to feed their family. That's what he's there for. He was fishing, and they caught him and wrote him a charge for fishing. One of the police officers said, I think you're making history here. And he is, and he was, and will go down as part of history. Now, here's another situation later where it doesn't go quite as well for him, and we'll check that one out. A little bit shorter.
the target was charged misdemeanor offense. Will be tried. I must object. I am not the name that he is referring to. I am the living man. The name that Mr. Riley refers to, ma'am, is held by the state in all capital letters and is identified by the state on the state.
Now, with me in my life, I've actually taken a different approach. And I'm not recommending you, because you in this life have to decide and make your own decisions. Okay. So don't necessarily do what I've done. What I've done is ignore their system, meaning not participate with it. If they were to write me, and they have, write me a summons to come into court, I don't go. They can come and get you and make you go, but I don't go. I don't volunteer. And they have made me go one time before. But then, as soon as I got out of the situation, I didn't go again. When they wanted me to come back, didn't go. They're still waiting. 15 years ago. Longer than that, actually. Longer than that. But they're still waiting on me to show back up. And I ain't going. I'm not going to participate in their fictional system. Now, if you had to and you ended up in this situation where you were sitting in a courtroom, you know, having this knowledge and understanding of what you're actually dealing with, because one, you shouldn't fight against a system that you don't even understand. So you go in there just making a fool out of yourself, it ain't going to work out good for you. But this man actually knows what he's saying. He understands it and is presenting it. He's going through battles. He wins some, he loses some.
Driver's license. I am not the all capital fiction. The living man. Mark is that of life. Hold a signature.
In this case, apparently he had no driver's license. And they they wrote him a ticket, another charge. You know, like a ticket when you go out to eat and the lady brings you the ticket, you know, to pay for the charges. Yeah.
And the nature of this sigil, ma'am, is the living person. It's never in all capital letters. Ma'am, I must object, ma'am. Without proper evidence of oath and bond as required, and I am back.
So this is November 2013. November 22nd, apparently.
United States Supreme Court cases to this end should have been brought to my hand more than a month ago, and no evidence has been brought forward of any competency of any of this. I have to speak for myself, ma'am. No one here is capable of doing it, particularly those that are bar or not bar. They can only speak, ma'am, to the legal. My interest is to forfeit.
Now, last time she got up and walked out the courtroom on the other charge, the fishing charge. And this time, you know, because she probably got a whooping for that from her sisters at Eastern Star, or from her husband from the Mason Lodge, or somewheres along the line in the upper echelons of their system, their make-believe system. And so she probably got a spanking for it. So now she's going to get a little even.
Persons living next. Improper objection. Violation. Ma'am, you can tell the living man in a commercial event such as this, who has the right to tell the living man when he can speak and when he cannot speak, what sounds he can make and what sounds he cannot make.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Date not me. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Of course, it's completely an illusion. The authority that you have over someone else that has not wronged you, that has not caused any damages. This man was simply traveling across the land in this case. Time before, he was fishing, yet they're dragging him in here repeatedly.
He is a addressing British law, ma'am. He is a minister on behalf of Great Britain. Ma'am, without oath and bond, contempt has already been established here. In the face of all these witnesses, ma'am, where is the evidence of oath and bond? Look. Requirement is right here, ma'am. It is through all ranks of the court, ma'am. I have done due diligence and due process, ma'am. Eye to eye. I faced those who would come against me. I communicated properly. I backed up my work, backed up the research. It's nice and neat. And I have total failure. I have total incompetency of the court because there is no evidence of Mr. Riley's office nor of yours, ma'am, nor of this lady's here, nor even the fine police officers that are here today. I have nothing to work with now. Now I'm out here hanging over the abyss. I must make my own way. Why, please give me an honorable answer, is a British recognized esquire asking questions and
British recognized esquire. See, someone to become an attorney, they have to pass the bar. Bar is a British credited representative. Okay? Means they're representing the crown, these court systems. They're representing the crown in England is who they represent. Whether it be your attorney or the other person's attorney, their ultimate loyalty is with the crown. Okay? The crown, will not lose, no way, shape, or form. Because when that attorney receives his fees, whether he wins or loses the case, the crown gets their cut. You see?
American corporate. Highest title of nobility applied behind this gentleman's name that is recognized as being banned from our country in the 1789 Constitution. Is nobody going to stand for our Constitution? I cannot, ma'am, in honor of the Constitution of the United States, I cannot allow a man who carries British recognition for the purposes of British ministerial law to continue to persecute me. I cannot, ma'am. I have to.
See, even the Constitution I have a problem with. Yeah, I like some of the ideas of certain parts of it, but my problem is that they were Freemasons who actually created the Constitution. Like, take, for instance, George Washington. He was a known Freemason. It's admitted he was a Freemason. All of your presidents through all of history in the United States have all been Freemasons. Yes, including Trump. But Trump, he's on a higher level. He's been through Freemasonry, but he is on a much higher level. And, but how do you, if it's truly natural law, then the Constitution even itself is mute. It's simple. It's the one law that Christ gave us. Treat your neighbors and others as if you would treat yourself. It's just simple, common sense. Treat everybody kindness and with love, and everybody treat you back with kindness and love. But because we're in this fallen world, the flesh causes us to sin. The flesh is what is defiled. It is sinful, and it will, if you allow it, it will take over and squash your spirit and will do and desire and go after things that the flesh wants. Like men who go out and rape women. That is a fleshly desire thing. Yeah, it's complicated in various ways, but it still shows you how the flesh will go do that. And there's other things that the flesh will desire that causes men and women to sin. So I guess you could say I even have a problem with even the Constitution and being an American and all this. I'm none of that. I'm not from here. I'm here now, but I am not from here, and neither are you. You didn't come from here. Your flesh did. It came out of the dust, out of the soil, just like everything comes out of the dust, out of the soil. Every automobile, every piece of technology that exists in this world, man has taken it and made it come up out of the earth and do magic for it, dance for it. Your automobile, everything in an automobile, including the fuel, came out of the dirt. And everything goes back to the dirt continuously, an ongoing forever cycle. That is the flesh, but we are not the flesh. If you can ever realize it, you are not the flesh. The flesh is cursed to die. But your soul, your spirit, who you really are, is not cursed to die. It will live forever. And you can either live forever in a bad place or in a good place, depending on what your soul, who you really, really, truly are, and who you want to be, whether it chooses and seeks truth and love, or whether it seeks lies and deceit and sinfulness. It ultimately is up to you.
The founders, man, honor the memory of those who fought and died that we could be free of this very type of thing. If I stand up, I give you recognition.
So they're removing him, sending him to the jury room where he can watch from, but he can't participate no longer.
Constitution of 1789. Sir, you're a Policeman native. What are you doing back in the British Ricky? Name yourself. This is an overthrow of the 1789 Constitution. Overthrow of the Bill of Rights is an overthrow of Title 26 United States Code, and above all.
And unfortunately, I personally would find it impossible to be able to fulfill a job where you wear one of these uniforms, where you could fulfill that job and still stand on the side of the ultimate truths. Because you're literally investing your energy, your time, and your life into enforcing a system that's destroying society. Yeah, I know they tell us they're protecting and serving, but are they really? What is the majority of what actually happens? It's either revenuing or it's, having shootouts and things that sometimes wouldn't have to happen. Because if you get pulled over because you don't have a license plate or a driver's license, and they find out and you start resisting verbally, if you're not careful, it can turn into a situation where you get shot and killed over resisting this system. So to anyone who might be listening, it's kind of a tough subject, but you really got to think long and hard as to whether you would want to spend your life working directly for the system that has destroyed us. With enough knowledge, you would know absolute that is the truth. Yet these men here do not have that knowledge. They're being paid to do these things to other men. This man simply was traveling across the earth, the world. Previously, he was just simply fishing, trying to get food for his family. And this is what happens to you.
It's an overthrow of universal law.
All right, I think I got one more to show you in reference to this. I haven't watched this one, much of it, so I don't know exactly what all's going to go down, but we're going to have possibly two, but this one here is a short one. Because ultimately, he's vindicated and all the charges are dropped, but he's lost a lot of time, he's lost a lot of effort, and he's been thrown in a jail cell a couple of times. But at least he's trying to stand up. He's trying to resist the slavery. Thank you, Connie. I agree with you.
Let's roll the video.
I don't know what this guy's little side comments are going to be. I'll probably get past them. Visitor 4565 says, once they find out that you are the living man, a son of God, and ask them to bring forth the other man with the claim against you, they will usually dismiss the case or run away like cowards. And I can't quite see the rest of your message the way this pops up. It can be won. You can win it. What I've done in order to stay out of their system that has worked for me is, one, don't participate with it. But two, I've been in situations where they wanted me to go to court and I didn't go. And so I knew they were, if they ran into me, they were going to arrest me, right? That's what they do. What I did was I prayed to Father. I said, Father, if they come against me, Father, I pray that you make me invisible and divert them so they do not know that I'm there and that I may pass without them messing with me, basically. I prayed to the Father for him to make me invisible. What happened? That happened. I was sitting in a bar, in a restaurant that had a little bar. I was listening to my friends who were running the band, playing music, talking with a couple of people sitting around. And a lady in there recognized my voice because, well, apparently it's fairly recognizable. And she's a very liberal-minded kind of lady, and for whatever reason, she decided to call the cops and tell them, here he is. She did, and they showed up. And while I'm sitting with my back towards the door, it was to my rear to the right. I'm sitting there talking, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, I hear a little voice in my head, kind of a little bit more louder and demanding. It said, get up and walk out now. And so I'm like, I know that wasn't my voice. So I look over my right shoulder towards the front door, and there's two of these guys coming in robo mode. I turned to my left to look at the back door, and there were two coming in that door in robo mode. So I immediately, this all goes down within about 1 to 2 seconds. I immediately stand up and start walking towards the front door, which they're standing at inside the front door. I didn't make eye contact, but I just simply walked right by them, walked outside, and as I was going out the front door, I glanced back to another door that's in the building, and there were two more coming in that third door in robo mode. So 6 revenuers coming after me. And I walked on out, walked around the corner of the building, turning down the side street that was right beside the restaurant. And there's all these paddy wagons all lined up there, cop cars, right? I walked right in front of them, between them and the side of the restaurant building. And I just kept on walking. When I passed the back parking lot that's in the back of the building, I looked over, and what did I see? Because it was late in the evening, getting close to about dark. What do I see? Some more of them out there in the back, looking under the cars and in the cars, looking for me. And at that time, I realized what Father had done. He made me invisible. So I burst out laughing, out loud laughing, like if I was having a good time. Now, I just kept right on walking down the street, and I went around the block, come back up to a McDonald's that was back on the same street again. Went in the McDonald's, sat down, and I called my friend. Actually, I texted him. My friend was the one that was running the band. And I said, were they there for me? He said, yep. He said, where did you go? I said, I just walked out. He said, nobody seen you leave. Nobody knows where you went. It was like you disappeared. Thank you, Father. You see, when you have faith and you trust in the Father, this is the kind of thing that can happen. Now, it's not something that you want to intentionally test, like you're testing Father. I wouldn't suggest that. Another example is when I drive a car. I will pray before I drive that car, and I talk to Father about it. And I pray the same thing, to make me invisible or to divert their minds to something else where they will not mess with me. And, well, it's been over a decade and a half, and I haven't been pulled over. Been plenty of cops go by and even behind me on occasion, but it's like I'm not even there to them. So realize that. Realize you're not alone. This world is not what you think it is. You're not all by yourself. Father's there, but you got to talk to him. You got to give him permission to do things because he's given you free will. You're of age, and Father has said, okay, you have free will. You can choose to do bad or you can choose to do good. But you can also go to Father and give him permission and ask him to do things for you. And if you go to him in faith, I can only tell you what he's done for me. I can only testify to the truth, that he will do these things. So that's how it's worked out for me.
Yes, sir. That one with the driver's license was at DUI, that there have been wrecks, that there have been insurance issues, there have been problems. So it becomes very swiftly logical, very clear immediately that the presence of a driver's license on the person.
Now, if you want to watch this, of course, you can see the title of the video up here. But what ultimately ends up happening, he pleads his case and goes through, and they ultimately end up, and it's interesting too, he's in the courtroom and he has a no hunting and no trespassing sign around his neck. And, this guy was fighting the best battle he could, and he ultimately did prevail. I believe they ended up arresting him here. Yeah, they did.
The military
Let's see what happened there exactly. See, he's executing violence against a man because he's not participating with their system. He's not, and all he did wrong was to travel across the land. But yet they're willing to go to these extenses, this level of violence even, to defend what? To defend their fantasy, to defend their slavery system. See, the guy that's on this man's back, he's a slave, and he doesn't even know it. Now, he's a higher paid slave, but yet a slave. He is might be a word for him, be like an Uncle Tom, okay? And I know that's not a correct and direct reference, but he is a enforcer of the slaves and doesn't realize that he's a slave himself. And she's standing over here, the judge is standing over here grinning because she likes that power. And that's the flesh. That's the flesh.
Back off. Leave me alone, Clinton. This man. Leave me alone. Deserved it. Leave me alone. Unconstitutional. He made his choice. Leave me alone, Clinton. I have nothing more on here.
Well, for one, you're being held in contempt of court.
He hasn't done any wrong.
Hang on just a second, guys. Sorry about that. Miss Kim needed something.
Why has no one been able to tell him what wrongs he's done? Why has no one been able to tell him what wrongs he's done? Back off! Are you getting it?
Now you notice he is not fighting the officer. He is simply not cooperating. He's not trying to injure the man that believes he has authority over that other man. It is a very, very slippery slope when you allow someone else to think they have authority over you. Because once you do it, it's nearly impossible. You've got to swim upriver. You've got to climb uphill, which is going to be twice as hard as the original defending yourself to start with.
Nobody's ever answered the jurisdictional issue. Before it stop, you live here. It's more law. It's an unconstitutional freedom is being stolen. It's slavery. We're being put off the
I'm going to find contempt as well.
Why should I put my hands on my neck and I'm just wrong? Listen, I'm afraid you're going to break my wrists and damage my shoulders.
Mr. Tatelegate, I suggest following the off about being...
I am an aging fellow with him. When I comply, it will not be because God.
Now, what actually ended up happening with this guy in this situation, I'm going to spare you listening to all their jibber jabber stuff, I think. Let's see if I can find the right spot.
Initial court appearance, the not guilty verdict for resisting arrest.
You are released. All charges are dismissed. We, as a system, it worked for you.
Today, some things were revealed that perhaps folks don't know about. Don't know that they even need to consider such things.
Though there are no more court appearances.
So he made some progress, and there have been a lot of people who have seen what this man has done and what he went through. And for some people, it scares them, and they haven't been able to find the bravery to be able to resist. And I'm not saying that doing it the way he is doing it is necessarily the best way, okay? Because ultimately, you have to choose. Like this video has going on 1 million views. This one here, and this one here, and this is only, this is just one channel that happens to have this on there. That's got about 9,000 views. But I'm sure that there are millions and millions of views. People seeing these things, and it makes people think. But again, I've chosen a different way of dealing with it, and that is taking it to the Father. And realizing that there are some things in life that they can take away that you didn't need to start with. They can take away your driver's license, but you don't need that to travel. You can still travel, but you say, well, maybe I might get pulled over. Well, maybe you might go to the Father first, and he'll protect you like he has me. Matter of fact, I'm sure he will. So I guess what I'm saying here is ultimately take it to the Father, because he's shown me in my life that he's there for you. He's been there for me. There's another video here that I have up. What it is it shows Michael Jackson, shows you how the world is a stage. Michael Jackson, they're bringing his body, okay, coming off the helicopter, coming from his compound, and they're claiming they're taking it to the coroner's office, okay? So they unload it off of this helicopter here. There's the little ambulance on the right-hand side, of course. And they go over there and they get a body of some kind, and they load it onto the cart. I'll kind of fast forward through some of this. So they load what looks like to have weight to it, the way it lands. They load a body, okay? And then these guys, they go load up into the ambulance. Okay? Notice what they're wearing. There's nobody there wearing a white shirt or black pants, exactly. They're mostly wearing the khaki green or that kind of color, you know. And they transport him to the coroner, right? Or to where his body's going to be processed, I guess, right? What's interesting is what happens when they get there. What he's showing you in this video here is that there's a driver, and then there's nobody in the back of the van. They all got out, okay? Ultimately. Okay, and I guess the one passenger there too. Then they take off on their little drive. Which isn't very far. And when they get there, they go inside of a building to drive in, so you can't really see, but then there's a man there that takes out his camera. There was somebody else filming. You'll see him here in a second. And he caught something pretty interesting. Okay. You'll see him come walking up in a second, and he takes his cell phone out or something out, and looks like he picks it up like he's filming. And make sure my resolution's as high as possible. Yeah, it is. Yep, smooth criminals, right? That man puts up something in front of him like it may be camera of some kind, possibly a cell phone even. Although I know this was in 2009. Now, here's the man doing the filming. He's walking into the tunnel and the gate's going down. But he walks on up here, and it's the same van because the license plate numbers match. From the previous scene where it was with the helicopter and this scene here, the license plate numbers match, which you'll see here in a minute. Just like the court system and all these different things are based on deception, so is everything else. Now you see they get there and they open the back, and somebody with jet black hair and a white shirt and black pants crawls out the back of the ambulance. But there was nobody dressed like that in the ambulance. Isn't that interesting? Knock, knock, knock. Time to get out, Mr. Jackson. And he comes out, real skinny looking, not too tall, black hair, white shirt, and black pants. Anybody remember what Michael Jackson liked to wear a lot? Oh, yeah. That's right. He liked to wear that, didn't he? A lot. So, anyways, I thought I seen this and thought it was, I hadn't seen it before. So I thought I'd show it to y'all guys too. So now you know for sure MJ, at least at that time, was alive and probably still is now. He's just now taking on a different character. And there's a character out there I've seen that it's probably him. And yeah, so it's all central casting, isn't it, Super Dave? All central casting. All mirrors, all smoke and mirrors, deception, delusion, until you see it. And that's been my work now for the last 16 years. Helping people get to the point of being able to see it. And I'm not saying that I even see everything crystal clear, because I'm sure I don't. Because if I get to that point where I think I know it all, I've got a problem, don't I? So I just continue to watch. I just continue to study and pay attention. And for the most part, I don't participate with it. Any way I possibly can, I stay out of it. So that night when I walked out of the restaurant and walked away with about, 10 or 12 cops there looking for me. And they couldn't find little old me, 6'2", 300 pounds with long hair. Couldn't find me. Since that date, I've never been arrested. They've still never to find me. And I'm not poking fun or trying to provoke anything. I'm just simply saying the truth. I'm just stating what the truth is. Because I do put my faith in the Father that he will protect me. Let me clarify something. There was a point in time back some years ago, about 10 years ago now, that I made the dumb mistake, and it reminded me real strongly why I don't participate. That is because I was living in Myrtle Beach, and I had made the mistake of ultimately I made the mistake of trying to get a job, because when you sign up or try to get that job, all your information, because it's all a centralized system, all your information, your address, all these things are immediately handed over. And the police, of course, have access to these things. And it caused me to have to spend 7 days in jail. This was about 10 years ago. This was over a child support issue where they used this same court system to burn. I was literally a multimillionaire, and they used the system and my ex-wife wielding it to burn me to the ground. And then after burning me to the ground, they said, we need $1,100 a month from you every month. And by that point, I was homeless, sleeping in a van, because they had burned everything to the ground. They made it where I couldn't sell any real estate that I had. And I was in the real estate development business by that point, and I had all this debt over my head. And they just, long story, a sob story. I ain't going to go through it all, but long story short, I did go to jail for 7 days during a period about 10 years ago. But I made the mistake of going down there thinking I was going to attempt to straighten it out. And I realized then and now, there is no straightening it out with a system that's based on crooked, based on fiction. It's based on something that ain't designed from the very beginning to be fair or to work something out. It's set up to destroy families. It's set up to destroy successful men that are not in their game or in their club. It's set to destroy the children. It's set to destroy, period. So that's why since that moment, I've never participated in any way, and I strictly put my trust in the Father in heaven and ask him to protect me from any advances from the enemy to come upon me, to use whatever means to make me invisible or change their mind to go do something else. So that's pretty much that. What's happening, Diana? Good to see you in here. What's up, William Gray? Motor vehicle is not a automobile, right? There's so much detail in the word. And guess what? They wrote the word. They created the spell, because the whole thing from the very beginning has been a big MAGA trick. All from the beginning, a big MAGA trick. MJ was a black man who became an artificial something. Whoops, it went off screen. Sorry. Yeah. So anyways, guys, I think I'm going to let y'all guys go. Last 24 hours when it comes to the Superthon, don't have any new information to report, put it like that. However, I still maintain and believe that I will hit my goal. I've been 29 days into the month now, live every day, just like I said I would. I've kept my word, even though I'm quite tired, mentally, mainly. And a man should not have to talk this much or be expected to. When I have to, takes 5-6 hours to get set up to do a live in general, because you got to have something to talk about. Now, it didn't quite take me that long today because I chose to do this. But if I'm doing a real show, it can take days to set up, which is why I normally only do 3 live shows a week. But I'm on day 29. I've got 2 days to go. And like I said, I was asked to extend the period of for the Superthon till Monday the 3rd to give a few people time apparently to be able to send in a small donation. So, which is fine, it's perfect, no problem with that, obviously. So we'll give a ultimate grand total on the afternoon of the 3rd, which is on Monday. But as far as my lives, I've got 2 more days to go, and then I'm going to finally get a break, which I'm very much looking forward to. So with that being said, I hope you guys, and I know you will, help me achieve the goal. Matter of fact, I was going to show you. Let's see if I still got it up here. What I do with it? Yeah, here it is. This is the PC that I want to get to run a studio, to upgrade it. Price is not exactly right. It's going to be a couple $100 more expensive than that. That's 2073, of which right now I really don't have any of it, even though I've collected quite a bit this month. So far it's went well, but there's also bills that are nonstop, and I have to fix 2 leaks that are in my roof. They have to come before I'm able to go out and buy this PC. Because buying the PC is not going to increase my income. All it's going to do is improve what we're able to do on the show and on the Supernatural Show network. But this is basically it. It's a company called Cyber PC or Cyber Power PC that I'm looking at getting it from. And it's a PC that's specifically set up and designed for creators, for people who do what I'm doing, you know, all the lives and everything like that. And I've already went through everything and know exactly what I want to get, which processor I should get, which everything I should get. I used to work for a company like this, except it was called Micron Electronics or Micron PCs, part of the overall company, which is called Micron Technology, which is in Boise, Idaho. And I worked in their sales department, and I took it upon myself. I wanted to be the top best salesman that I could. So I took it upon myself to learn everything I possibly could about how PCs work and what everything is and what it does and what's good and what's not and everything. So I have a history in understanding PCs. Okay. And this PC, set up the way I want to get it, will take us seriously to the next level. Right now, I can't effectively turn on all the cameras for when Shannon's here and when Roxy's here, and or have additional guests. Like I would like to have Super Dave and Super Mike on here, at least by audio at some time, and have guests like y'all guys to be able to come on. But with my current setup, I'm already loaded. I'm already maxed. And I have even just a couple of people here. And there's literally a dozen other things that I want to do to be able to upgrade and make the show a better show, not from an entertainment standpoint, but from a functional and professional looking to draw a crowd, because that's what we want. It's not about the views, but it's about getting the message out. I'm sure you understand. With that said, that's what I'm trying to do, along with some other things like fixing the 2 leaks in my roof that's going to cause my roof to fall in, which is not sure how much that's going to be, but it's going to be a little bit. So do what you can. Help me if you're willing. But for now, I'll see you tomorrow. Once again, 2 more days to go before I get a break. I love you guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
I've got one that can see.
Logic before authority.